So today I have a first impression review and demo for you guys on the new L'Oreal Pro Glow foundation. I am really excited to be trying this foundation out for you guys today. I have seen so many different people talking about this foundation. I haven't actually really watched many videos on it because I kind of wanted to have my own first impression before I went and watched a whole bunch of videos, but I've just seen a lot of people talk about it, and I didn't get my hands on the Pro Glow matte because I have dry skin, so to be honest I just didn't have any interest in trying that one out. I may try it out eventually, but right now I'm just really excited that they came out with a glow version. First of all, I do have dry skin, so a Pro Glow foundation is something that I look for. Anything that says glow on it, I'm like, yes, give it to me, because my skin is so dry. It's not cute. Even in the summer months it gets a little bit better, but it is still so ridiculously dry. I just cannot stand it. So I am so excited that they came out with a glow version of this foundation. Now you can get this at pretty much any drugstore, Ulta, Walmart, Target, places like that. This retails around me for around $10. It's usually $9 and some change, which I think is a good fair price for a foundation like this. It comes with 1 fluid ounce, which is a standard amount of foundation. They have, from what I could see, I'm not exactly sure exactly how many shades they have, but from what I could see where I went to go get mine, they had about 10 shades. Keep in mind that the amount of shades they have may differ depending on where you go, because my sister was telling me that they only had 5 shades total where she went. So she said that she couldn't get one darker than 206, which I went and got 208, so I know that they have darker shades. I also did see that they had some pretty deep skin tone shades, so that's a good thing as well. So this does claim to wear up to 24 hours. It also has a SPF of 15, and it says that it is a radiant finish for normal to dry skin, and it is hydrating. On the back, I really like what the back does, because on this particular foundation, once again, I didn't have the matte version, so I don't know if it has the same thing on here, but it kind of gives you a really awesome little chart of what the foundation is going to be like. So it says it's a lasting glow foundation, it's never dull, and it's never greasy. And then it tells you the finish, and it says demi matte, natural, and radiant, and it shows you that this foundation is radiant. And then it says you can wear up to 24 hours, the coverage is medium, and the texture is air light. And then it says the pro tip is to shake well, dot onto skin in rolling motion for flawless coverage. So I really like that it has that little chart on the back where you can see what coverage, finish, and texture it's gonna be. I really like that. That is amazing, and I feel like every foundation should have that, just so you kind of know what you're getting yourself into before you buy it, especially at drugstores where they don't usually have testers. I think that's an awesome idea. The packaging is just your standard squeeze tube. I don't really mind it. It's easy to travel with, it's easy to pack, it's really thin and just small and nice, but you still get your standard amount of product in it. Those are all of the little perks that the foundation says that it comes with, and all the things about the foundation. So before we get into the demo, I just want to say thank you guys so much for watching, and please subscribe to my channel if you guys haven't already, and hello if you are new. If you guys want to see the demo of me putting the foundation on and how this wears throughout the day, then just keep watching. So I'm going to start off by priming just one side of my face, just to kind of compare which side, if the prime side or the not prime side really makes a difference, or if the foundation just stays pretty well on its own. So I'm going to start by using the Maybelline Master Prime. I love this primer. This is for blur and redness control, and I'm just going to put this on the right side of my face. I'm going to use 204, and if I feel like this is too light, I might mix in a little bit of 206. So yeah, let's just get started. I'm just going to basically dot this all over my face with my finger, and then I'm going to blend it in with a sponge. So the consistency on this is pretty runny. As you can see, it's just running down my hand. It's a pretty liquidy consistency, and that is my first impression. And then I'm just going to dot this all over my face. So remember that this side is the prime side and this side doesn't have any primer at all. Okay, and I'm just going to start to blend this in with my beauty blender. So this is with one layer, and I do think that the color matches me actually really well. My neck is always a little bit more white than the rest of my body, but as you guys can see, like my shoulders are a little bit darker than my neck and my face. But in camera it's looking really bright and white, but actually like in person it looks very true to color as far as like in the tube. I feel like in person though it looks very true to color as to what's in the tube, and it matches me really well. It also has a medium coverage, like I can still see my skin underneath. I actually really like the way that just this one layer looks. Like on an everyday basis, this is definitely what I would go for, is just one layer of that foundation. So the finish is definitely a glowy finish, as you guys can kind of see on my forehead. It definitely is a glowy finish, but it is such a beautiful finish because it looks like my skin. Like, I am just really liking the way that this is sitting on my face as of right now. I think it looks really good and natural, and it is a medium coverage. There is still, like, you can still see a little bit of redness right here, as well as some of my freckles. So far, I'm impressed. But because I do want to see how this builds, I am going to go in with a second layer of this. So you don't have to do this. I actually really like the way that this looks just like this, but because I want to see how this builds and I want to see if you can build up the coverage, I am just going to go ahead and put on a second layer of this, and also to see if this is going to cake up at all if you were to choose to want to have a little bit more of a fuller coverage with this foundation. If you wanted to build it up, I want to see if it's going to cake up on my face at all, or if it's going to stay looking a lot like my natural skin. After I now have the second layer of the foundation on, I have to say that it did build up really nicely, just as I expected. Because it is such a thin formula, it builds up really nicely and it's not cakey really whatsoever as far as right now goes. So I really like it so far. It did build up the coverage. I really still like the way that it looks. So I definitely think that you can build this without it looking too cakey or too heavy on your face, which I really like. So yeah, what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to put a little bit of concealer on. I'm going to use the Maybelline Fit Me Concealer, and then I'm going to put a little bit of Airspun's loose powder underneath my eyes just to set the concealer. And I'm also going to set just the center of my face with the NYX powder. So the reason I'm choosing to do that is just because I usually do that, and because this is a glow foundation, although I do have dry skin, I like to set the center of my face just to make sure that nothing goes anywhere throughout the day. So this is my typical routine, so I kind of will know if I like the foundation or not, whether I set it or not, because I typically do set my face. If you don't set your face usually, I wouldn't suggest setting it. I would just suggest doing your foundation how you always do it, and your routine how you always do it, setting it with powders or not, and then kind of seeing how it wears throughout the day. But I'm going to do it with the powders just in the center of my face because that's usually what I do, and I'm not going to put too much because I want that glow to show through, but also this will be a good test to see if the foundation actually does still glow through the powder or not. So this is a wear test video, so I will be updating you guys how it is wearing throughout the day. And yeah, I'm going to go put on my concealer and my powder, and I will be back in a couple of hours to show you guys how it looks. It is now 11:30 in the morning. Okay, so I just put the concealer on and I realized I didn't show you guys like a more up close shot, so I just wanted to do that really quickly so you guys can kind of see what the foundation looks like a little bit more up close. So here you go. This is what it looks like with no powder or anything on, but this is what the foundation looks like first thing today. So yeah. Okay, you guys, so it has now been a little over 2 hours since I put the foundation on. It is now 1:45 in the afternoon, and I'm going to update you guys. So really a couple of things I want to get into before I tell you how it's wearing right now is I was very pleased, really? I was very pleased with how the concealer blended into the foundation. It blended so effortlessly into the foundation. I was super impressed with it, and it looks really good over top, as well as the powder went on really nicely over the foundation as well. It didn't cake up in certain spots or anything like that. It just blended over the foundation really beautifully, so I'm really pleased with how powder and concealer blend on top of the foundation. That makes me really happy. And yeah, so now for the update of how it looks now. So it's been over 2 hours. I really like the dewiness of this foundation. I think as of right now it has the perfect amount of glow to it. Now obviously I've got some like highlighter going on, and so I've got highlighter on my cheekbones, my nose, and like a little bit right here, and then like on my chin. But on like my forehead there is a little touch of glow that you can kind of see peeking through, as well as right here. I really like when I get glowy right here. I know a lot of people hate that because they think it accentuates their pores or whatever. It makes them look greasy, what have you. I don't really have the largest of pores, so I don't really mind it, as well as I am so dry. I kind of like when I look a little greasy. Is that kind of gross to some people? I don't know. It's just the way that I am, but I don't think it looks greasy. I just think it looks really dewy and glowy and beautiful. So as of right now, I'm really liking the glow to the foundation. I don't think it looks greasy at all at this point. Now, I will say this. There's one thing about this foundation that I'm not totally loving, but it's not so bad to the point where I wouldn't wear this foundation again. I would just be very cautious when wearing this. So this is the side that I put the primer on. This foundation settles into lines. Now I have number 11s on my forehead, which are just like two lines, like go like this. Like when I go like this, you see those lines right there? I have number 11s right there, and fun fact, I hate them and I really want to get Botox right there, but whatever, my mom's telling me I'm ridiculous. But the side that I put the primer on, which is this side, the number 11, you can see it. Like, it's definitely creased in there. But on this side, it hasn't creased at all. So I find that a little interesting, as well as the rest of the face though, like right here, my smile lines, it's creased just a little bit, or settled, not creased, but settled into those lines just a little bit. I don't really think it's settled more on one side than the other. It's kind of settled evenly. And the only other thing I will say that really does bother me about the foundation, but this kind of happens to me with any foundation, so I kind of expected it, is like right here in my nose, it like has come off a little bit. Like it has creased so bad that it doesn't look that great, but I am noticing it creased worse on the side that I put the primer on. So maybe this foundation does better without primer. I don't know. So that's kind of my update for right now. I love the way that it looks. I don't really mind a little bit of creasing. It's not so bad to where like you can see it all the time, honestly. But I am noticing that it creases worse on the side that I have the primer on than the side that I don't have the primer on. So just keep that in mind when you are maybe looking into getting this foundation. But I do like the glow of it. It looks the exact same as when I first put it on, which I really like. So yeah, that's all I can really update you guys on right now. But I will be back in another couple of hours to once again update you guys on how it looks. Okay, you guys, so it is now 9:24 at night. So I have had this foundation on just shy of 10 hours. So I typically usually make my final thoughts of a foundation and kind of like my final opinions around 8 hours, because that's typically how long like I feel like the normal person wears foundation. But I wanted to do it a little bit longer for you guys so that you guys could really see how well this foundation wears. And to be honest, I was kind of curious. So I have had it on for almost 10 hours, pretty much 10 hours at this point. And let's just give you guys my final thoughts and opinions. So first thing I notice is that I am producing some oils along my forehead, my nose, and like right here on the sides of my nose. But it's nothing that I don't like. Like I told you guys earlier, I kind of like that look. It's nothing to me that's like a big deal, but I feel like if you have oily skin, you may not like that. Everybody's different, so that may not happen to you. Another thing that I like to look for personally is I like to check right here along my jawline to see if the foundation has worn down or kind of faded at all, and this does not look like it is faded at all. It is wearing almost exactly like I just put it on, which I absolutely love. And as far as the settling into my lines or my mouth, honestly, it's like almost like unsettled. Like, I'm not even kidding you. I don't know if it's the oils that have kind of like made it like, I don't know. It's like gone. I don't even really know what to say. Right here where it was settling, it's like gone. There's no more settling into my fine lines. I will say I still do have this little number 11 right here, but that is like pretty standard. I always get that and it doesn't really go away easily, so I'm not really concerned about that. But for the most part, I'm really happy with how this has worn. Like I said, to me, it still looks like it exactly did this morning. I really like the way that this foundation has held up throughout the day. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom you guys in so you guys can hopefully see a little bit of a better shot and a closer look of my face, and then I will give you guys my final review and opinion. Okay, so I don't know if you guys can see, but I feel like you guys kind of can. You see the oils on my forehead right there, and then I have some on my nose and a little bit right here. Yeah, I just feel like that's typical, but besides that, it looks pretty much like it did earlier this morning, so I'm really impressed. I hope that you guys can kind of see it, but yeah, so I'm going to zoom you guys out now and we are going to get my final thoughts and opinions on this foundation. Okay, you guys, so my final thoughts and opinions on this L'Oreal Infallible Pro Glow Foundation is I am definitely really happy with my purchase. I think this is well worth like the $10 to $13 that it ranges. As far as the back that we went through at the very beginning of the video where I was telling you guys what the finish was and what the back claims to have, the finish that says it's radiant, I do agree with that. It looks really beautiful and glowy on the face like it states. I definitely do think that it wears really well. Now, I would not wear it for 24 hours. I still think that wearing it for 10 hours kind of shows you guys how well this foundation actually does wear. The coverage, it says it's medium. Now, I am not going to complain about that. I do think that the coverage is really good for this foundation. I think it is a little bit more than medium, to be honest. I don't think it's full. I just think it's kind of like somewhere in between. But I really do like the coverage. I think it's beautiful, and with one layer, like, you're good to go. And the texture, it's saying it's air light. I definitely agree with that as well. This is not a heavy foundation whatsoever. It's really great on the face. It doesn't feel heavy or cakey or anything. It just feels really nice. One other thing I wanted to mention, which I did not talk about earlier, but after I watched a video, I kind of feel like I need to talk about it. So while I was applying this, I realized that I was getting these little white clusters of dots on my face, and I kind of was confused as to what it was, but to be honest, I kind of thought it was like the powder in my beauty blender, because usually I use my beauty blender to apply powder. So I thought that's what it was, but after watching someone else's video, I actually realized that that's not what it was. It's actually, I guess that if you don't shake the foundation well enough, which, I'm distracted. If you guys can hear that, it's like super liquidy, so you are supposed to shake it, and it does actually say on the back to shake well. I don't know if it's like the glowy part of the foundation, like the glowing pigments, but those will settle and it will kind of like show up on your face because it'll separate the foundation. So you definitely do need to shake this really well, or you will get those. They do blend out, because I found that out this morning when I was doing it. I could blend them out, but just to avoid getting any of those little white dots, or if you haven't tried this yet and it happens to you, just know that nothing's wrong with your foundation. You just do need to shake it. So yeah, I think that's it for this foundation. I hope you guys liked this little review and demo and wear test of this foundation. Like I said, I really highly recommend this foundation. It's really good. So yeah, I hope you guys like this video. If you guys did like this video, please subscribe to my channel. It means a lot to me. And if you guys like these first impression videos, please let me know. These are some of my favorite videos to film because they're so, I feel like, personal, and they're just really like fun to film for me, and also I feel like it's very interactive because I really get to sit here all day and really like show you firsthand how I like everything and my opinions and stuff like that. So I hope that you guys like this video, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye guys!